Hello YouTube, we are back, and it's been a while since I've worked on my Flash Comics 78. I've been diligently finishing up Mike Night Tiger's book. So we're at the stage now where I'm freed up and we can start working once again on this book. Last upload, if you recall, I removed all of the tape off of the cover. So what I want to do now is I want to do an aqueous bath on this book, or the cover at least, using various chemicals, and the first chemical that we're going to use is chloramine T with detergent. Now, with the Captain Arrow, I said that I was going to do the cover, the inside of books first. But I already started this, so we have to forge ahead with the cover. Also, what I want to do differently is I am going to flatten out the interior pages, or at least a few of them, of the interior of this book, because it actually does not have a total split spine going through the book, so I can get the dimensions of the actual pages flattened out in order to leaf cast it. Before I clean the book, though, or the cover, I want to try to go over it with my erasers, because just because it's going in water and solvents to clean it, you still have dirt that should be removed prior to putting it in the bath. This book is very delicate, like a lot of the books I work on. So what I want to try to do is I want to try to give it the most non-invasive eraser cleaning. And what I like to do, and I've shown this in the past, is number one, I like to use my cheese grater with a regular white eraser. But the first thing that I want to do before we get going with that is let's remove all the loose pieces like this, because I don't want to basically damage them by doing the eraser cleaning, or breaking them further, or ripping them further. We'll clean these individually when we're done with the big pieces. So I'll just put this to the side. And what I'm going to try to do with this book is I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible and show everything that I am going to do to it on camera. So hopefully you will enjoy the process a lot better, because with the Captain Arrow, there was many things that were performed on the book off screen, because it was just a lot of work and a lot of labor went into it. With this book, there is less labor, I feel, that will go into it as well. So that's why I can do more on the camera. So what I want to do is let's just remove the back cover and put it to the side along with the pieces. And then once I'm done cleaning the front cover, we will put the front cover on and remove the front cover and put the back cover on the bench. So what I do is I take the grater and I grate some nice little chunks of the eraser onto the actual cover. And I will continue this process throughout the cleaning, and we will use the chunks of the eraser not only to clean the cover in conjunction with my other eraser, which you'll see in a second, but I may rub my fingers in a circular fashion to try to clean some of the dirt off. I want to get my brush. You want to use your brush as well. So what I want to do is I want to brush over the particles, and we're going to try to do this in a way that I do it in strips. So what I'll do is I'll take a magazine backer board and I will gently rub my graded pieces into the cover, just like this. And we will slowly go down the line and try to clean all the dirt as much as possible in sections. So I can see right from the get-go that I am bringing up some orange, and that's okay, because a little color loss is expected when you do this type of work. You're not going to get it where you are going to have it where there is no color loss. There'll always be a little, but I am delicately going over the areas of the book or the front cover just to give it a cleaning. Now, I'm not going to do this for the inside cover. We will hold off because the solvents should clean the inside good enough. So I always like to check out my eraser, and I like to see if I have some dirt being removed, which I can easily see I am. So I like to do my eraser in a crisscross direction. I don't like to focus my intention on one spot more than other spots. So we try to blend all of the eraser marks in the pattern that I am doing it. If you do one spot continuously, that's when you run into problems where you will actually see the markings of the eraser. So this is what I'll do for the whole cover. And whether I will get all of the dirt off, you never will, but that's why we are going to continue the process with a cleaning with the aqueous bath. So let's just move it over a little section at a time. Let's put some more eraser chunks, like a Parmesan cheese when you have pasta. And this helps clean the book in addition to the eraser that I'm using. And I will focus my attention a little bit more on the white of this book, because I know I'll be able to get that a little bit more, or a little bit better than the other sections, because I can be more aggressive on the white, because I'm not concerned with color lift on the white. Also, yellow will come up more than a lot of other colors for some reason. Yellow is a color that comes up a lot with the eraser. Then I'll switch to my fingers, and I will just, in a circular fashion, go around the whole cover. And I think I'm going to employ this method versus using the eraser, because I feel that I can get a better covering than using the eraser. And the book, like I said, is in very delicate condition. For some reason, I like to work on these books that fall apart. I guess that's me trying to help the book live for more decades to come, because without doing this, who knows what would happen to this book. I don't think it would survive long. So we put more of the eraser chunks down, and then you slowly go in circles with the eraser bits, and that will lift up the dirt. You can go back and forth like this, just as long as you cover the cover with the eraser marks, you'll do a good job. And I can see that the eraser marks are turning darker just by doing this. Now I will concentrate on the white. We'll get some of that dirt up there, and let's move it along. And again, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for a situation where I could make it, where I lift as much surface dirt as possible before I go to the wet bath with solvents. Because you want to try to do it in steps. You want to try to remove as much as possible in each step. And this works for me. Maybe for other people it wouldn't work as well, but for me, it does work. Maybe other people have different ways of doing things, and that's fine. For me, this is the way I like to do it. And I get nice results by doing it this way. Now we'll go back and forth, just like this, and we'll try to lift up as much dirt as possible. Let's move it over a little bit, and let's concentrate on the white. And I'm a little aggressive. I'm not gonna say I'm not aggressive, especially with whites. You can really wrench down and put some pressure on it without any concern that you're going to lift any color, because there's no color there. So again, let's put some fresh eraser chunks with the cheese grater, and we'll continue the whole front cover this way. And I know I said I'm going to be transparent and do everything in front of you, but this is the main gist. So let me continue doing this for the front cover. I'll continue doing this to the back cover. And then next time I am back on screen, we'll get this baby ready for the aqueous bath. Okay guys, we are back. I cleaned the cover by using my eraser, just like I showed. And now we want to get it ready to do my bath. Now again, as I indicated, I'll be right there because I'm just putting the front cover on a piece of ramie right now. And again, let me show the camera. Do you see how this book looks? This is highly acidic, it's brittle, and look at the color. And we are going to basically improve this, I think, substantially. And what I want to do now is let's get all the pieces together as best as we could in the way they should be presented if they were one piece. I know I'm probably going a little overboard with putting it together like this, but why not? So this piece goes here. I was very happy to save Mr. Hawkman's head. Let's put his bottom piece here, because he's going to go into the bath as well. And then let's continue going down the line of all the pieces that I saved. And it was a lot of work to save these pieces. So I'm glad I was able to. I think I'm getting it right. If not, we'll figure it out when we put the book back together. And I'm off with the little pieces, but that's okay, because we're putting it for a bath right now, and each piece has to be cleaned the same fashion as the bigger pieces, because when we wind up putting the book back together, we don't want some pieces cleaner than others, or at least that's my goal. So these are all the pieces right here. Next, what I want to do is I want to put a piece of Reme on top, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet this right now with my sprayer. The reason why I'm wetting it with the sprayer, and bear with me, is because I want to try to make it where it sticks to the Reme and I don't have to worry about losing the pieces. So if we wet it just like this, we'll be in good shape, and the two pieces of Reme will stick together, and then we will preserve the pieces without fear of losing them. But I can always lose them. I lose pieces all the time. So what I'm going to do now is I'll wipe this down. Let's get rid of my mat. I don't need that right now. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to put my tub. So make sure the camera has it. Right here I have a gallon of water. This is my chloramine tea. People ask how much do I put in. I put in different amounts depending on how aggressive I want to get. But for this guy, I'm going to put in a very hefty tablespoon. We're going to mix it into the water just like that. And I'm going to close up my container, or my bag of chloramine tea. We're going to let that dissolve a little bit. In addition to that, I'm going to put some palm olive in there as well. Antibacterial, a little bit as well, like that. I don't measure it out. Now, the goal of this procedure that I'm doing is to actually clean the cover, or bleach the cover a little bit, because as you saw, it's really not in best of shape. So we'll let this dissolve a little bit. I do want to stir it up. So what I'll use is I have skewers that I use to mix. And these are skewers that I use to bend. They're just regular bamboo cooking skewers. And then I'll give it a nice mixing. We'll try to dissolve the chloramine tea and the water. Give it a nice stir. And it looks like it's dissolving. So we'll put this to the side. Next, what I want to do is I would like to put, personally, the white side up, because when I do this type of cleaning, I like to inspect how the actual cleaning is taking place. So we'll put it down and I'll smooth out the Reme. These pieces of Reme that I'm using, unfortunately, should be thrown out because they get a little wrinkly, and I actually put some heat to it when I was doing Night Tiger's book, which doesn't go well with the actual Reme because it wrinkles it up. So let's give a little bit more stir. This is just plain water in a plastic container. I'm going to fill it up because what I'm going to do is use that as a weight. And then next what I'll do is I'll stir up the chloramine tea and soap one more time, and then we're gonna slowly pour it in. Slowly pour it in, and usually this gallon of water is pretty good, which it does cover the whole cover. Now, the question now comes, how long am I going to soak this for in order to bleach it out? The answer to the question is I will soak this for approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours, checking on it periodically. So that is the time that I will soak it, and hopefully it does its job and it will lighten it up. And right now I'll stop the camera and we'll check out the result in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So hang loose.